Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by Stephen Key, author of Become a Professional Inventor. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much.
We are thrilled to have you. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
All right. Question number one. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
Wow. Learn about the process of getting published. Because I was a little surprised, Paul, that it's all about eyeballs. And those publishers want to sell books. That makes sense. So I think if any advice I was giving anyone, determine why you want to write a book, but make sure you have an audience, because your publishers are going to want that audience.
And what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
I think you have to have a point of difference. I think you need to look at the landscape of where your content is going to land. Make sure you know all the other similar people that are writing about the similar topic, and make sure your point of difference is extremely strong. And I think that's the most important thing you can do. Is one of the first steps that the publisher is going to want to make sure you're not going to write material they can find someplace else.
Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launches that has worked well.
Well, that's a great question. I think the best strategy you can is to make, like I said, make sure you have a point of difference, make sure you have an audience, and bundle your book with something that has a higher value than the price of the book. And those are basically free giveaways. We always bundle books with other types of tools, other types of things the readers might enjoy that puts a higher value on the price of the book. And then when you push it out with those other freebies or promotional items, people seem to purchase a book quite quickly. So yes, bundle other things with your book.
So give us some examples of some of those other things that we could bundle with that book, Stephen.
Oh, wonderful. My first book was called One Simple Idea. That was from McGraw-Hill. That book was for inventors. And so we bundled with the book that if you purchased the book, you would get a list of companies that are looking for ideas. It was a perfect match with the book. Here's a book that's going to tell you what to do if you have a great idea. And these are companies that are looking for great ideas. So we were able to pre-sell thousands of books before it even hit Amazon. Pre-sales.
Excellent.
The publisher was very surprised. We pre-sold books 2 months before it launched with that bundling technique. So when it did launch on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble, they actually put us on the front table at Barnes & Noble because we pre-sold so many books.
Nice. And tell us a little bit about that pre-selling strategy, because that's something that everyone may know what that process entails.
Well, I had mentioned earlier what was important to us was to have an audience, and we had an audience. And we reached out to that audience and told them that we were going to write a book and what it was going to be about. And then we also had a landing page of what the book was going to look like, the title of the book, and the benefits of reading the book, but also what was going to be bundled with it, that if you ordered the book, you would get access to these companies. And it was basically just a landing page where people could see exactly what they were getting. It's like a sell sheet. And it allowed people to see the benefit of what they were going to receive and people ordered the book on Amazon 2 months before it even launched.
Well, speaking of books, I'd like to know what is your favorite book and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
Oh, I love books. So the one book that um, very rarely do you pick up a book and there's something in there that you use every single day. And the one book that provided that type of content or advice was the author was Ryan Holiday, and the book was The Obstacle is the Way. Because as business people and writers and all of us, we're always coming up against obstacles. And the book explains that obstacles are just opportunities for you to shine. So you should never look at an obstacle as a problem, but welcome those obstacles so you can do a good job and show your audience how you can shine and overcome any obstacle.
And for our final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
Well, that's a simple one. My favorite quote would be from Walt Disney. If you can dream it, you can do it.
Excellent. And why is that your favorite quote?
Well, in my industry, we do a lot of dreaming, and you have to take action. But it first starts with the dream. And if you can dream it, like Walt Disney said, you can do it, but you have to believe you can. So that's why I love that quote.
Well, Stephen, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
I think the best way would be our YouTube channel called Invent Right TV. You can just type in Stephen Key or type in Invent Right TV, and we have over 400 videos to help creative people. That's the best way.
Well, thank you once again for being on the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how you can be featured in our brand new Get Published business book, go to getpublishedpodcast.com.